in the United States, there are lots of media that would try to get things straight, even though today we talk about fake news.
Right.
But in China, the situation is very subtle, even though you get the story straight and people know it. But after 2 weeks, government would tone it down
by really?
censoring it.
Uh-huh.
I have a friend who actually was the first guy using Chinese equivalent of Twitter, Weibo, to expose a very high-ranking official in Chongqing.
And what's it called? The Chinese equivalent of Twitter?
Weibo. It's by Xinang. It's a huge company. But Weibo is very profitable, more profitable than Twitter. He was a hero at the time because his story fit into the larger political struggle between Xi and Bo Xilai, the two princelings. That high-ranking official, 12-second sex tape was posted on Weibo,
really?
and it became a hit. He became a hero because that high-ranking official was the protege of Bo Xilai, the guy who lost the struggle. So he became a hero. But after 2 weeks or a month,
it was removed.
It was systematically ordered to censor because it's more like a flooding project. You have to manage the beginning, the middle, and the end.
Right.
And Chinese government is so sophisticated, they will send short notice to media executive telling them when is the time to tone down the story. You know,
wow.
They became a hero, but they also became, the victim of censorship. And right now that journalist immigrated to the United States, but he was frustrated by all this censorship.
Do you see things changing in China or no?
I think e-governance is the key word that we can use to understand the whole regime. Government, on the one hand, wants to have lots of stories exposing low-level official malpractices. It's better for governance. On the other hand, if a story gains a lot of traction, if it has over, for example, 500 reposts, it could be censored.
Right.
In order to clip social tie, it's not necessarily clip government criticism. I find it, on the one hand, you don't have freedom of press in China, but on the other hand, there wouldn't be some people like Donald Trump gaining traction and getting all the attention. You cannot get all the attention all the time. You can be a hero for 2 weeks.
Right. So what do you want to do? Do you want to go back to China, or do you want to stay here, or what do you think?
So if I can actually have my degree, PhD takes a long time.
Yeah.
Sociology takes even longer. Yeah, I will decide at that point whether I should go on with my academic career or do other things. Yeah, that would be the point. But right now in China, there is a sentiment, but largely fueled by government propaganda, that China is rising. The United States is receding.
There are people who see that here too. So.
Yeah, so why don't you come back to China and you have larger space to grow the business. And one of my friends I met on the street the other day, he was gay and he had a husband in here, and he talked about his dilemma. On the one hand, his family still doesn't accept that he coming out, and he hadn't come back home for 4 years. On the other hand, he found that the salary for journalists in the United States is so low, and in China, the salary in certain big city is almost like as high as you have in the United States, but the cost of living is lower.
Right.
So he is considering whether he should come back home after all the 4 years.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So Trump had some nice coverage in China. People say he's not ideological. He made lots of deals, but people still question the substance of the deal.
Right.
But under the surface, people think that United States has a bad face put on because Trump doesn't have more authority.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Even Chinese people say, well, Xi Jinping has more authority than Donald Trump. So that's unfortunate. Lots of liberals in China pin a hope on, American leadership being strong and good at the same time, but now they find their hope misplaced. But China is really different from the United States, and sometimes a single story will be very misleading. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so
I really
much.
appreciate you coming by.